Oh. Thanks for joining us, folks. Deadline Live. I'm Jack Blood, your narrator, your radio gun. Joining us on the program today, Mancow. Mancow's Morning Madhouse, Mancow.com. Mancow.
Hey, Jack. You know, I was listening here to your show, and that soundbite you played before you came back on, I remember watching Gary Hart. Gary Hart was going to be president, remember? And I clearly remember Gary Hart being interviewed by Dennis Miller on some old TV show. Dennis Miller, who I flush more personality than that guy. If you ever met Dennis Miller, what a...
hate him. No, I shouldn't say that, but...
No. You know what? I mean...
He's as bad as Howard Dean, in my opinion, but go ahead.
You know, Dennis is a very... I don't know. I need my thesaurus here to come up with a very lengthy group of words that mean nothing,
I went and saw him once. I went and saw him once, Mancow, and went to one of his shows in Rhode Island under the tent, and it wasn't sold out, so he refused to go on. Okay, that says it all. Go ahead.
No, bad guy. But forget Dennis Miller. Here's the point. This guy comes on, Gary Hart, and he says, "Look, I was put in a room, and they told me," he goes, "I always believed as a kid that, you know, if I became president, I'd be able to change the world." He goes, "When it looked like I was going to win, I was put in a room, and they told me exactly how it was going to be." And he said, "I realized that being president meant nothing. Dennis Miller told a stupid joke. They changed the subject. Years later, I got a radio show. I'll never forget that moment. Maybe some of your listeners remember it. And I had Gary Hart on, and he denied it. There's no doubt in my mind that happened. And I believe, you know, look, Obama's the ultimate puppet. If you're sitting in front of Obama, and I've spent many hours with the man, hours with the man on a one-to-one basis. If you're a Muslim, he's Muslim. If you're Christian, he's Christian. If you're conservative, he's conservative. If you're anti-abortion, he's anti-abortion. Here is a man that was abandoned by two fathers. His atheist mother abandoned him. And if you've ever known anybody like that, children of alcoholics, children that were abandoned, they're everything to everybody. They just want to be loved. This guy is the perfect guy to be president because he's nothing. He's a puppet. He's a mirror. When you look at him, he's whatever you want him to be. And he is controlled by very powerful forces and very crooked forces. And they are having a ball. They're having so much fun plundering our country. They created the problem. They control the stock market. I love this. I don't know. You know, as I look around at the stores being boarded up, they say 10%. I say 17 to 22% unemployment. And they tell me everything's fine. And the stock market is up. Did you see that? Everything's fine. The stock market's up.
Palin, yes.
just in time for Christmas. It's ridiculous. And I just remember, and this is before you went to break, Dylan Radigan, Kudlow, Kramer, separately, not together, they're lovers, but separately, I'm kidding. But all of these experts all laughed at me about where we were headed and where we weren't going to have double-digit unemployment, and that gold would never see $2,000 an ounce. We are going to see gold at $2,000 an ounce, and unemployment is far beyond the 10% that Obama's telling us.
Hey, beware, because Bernanke came out today and said he's going to save the dollar. The plunge protection team is on the loose. So let that be a lesson to you folks out there. I mean, it may get to 2,000 for gold, but they're giving it away to the Taliban now. It's another story we reported today. At 512-879-3805, you can call in and talk to Mancow. Is that okay with you, Mancow?
Whatever, sure.
Whatever. 512.
No, I mean, whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
whatever you want to do.
You take calls on your show, don't you?
I do.
Let's go to area code 920. We do them by area codes here because it's the economy's killing us and we can't afford a call screener. 920, you're on the air with Mancow. Go ahead. Turn him up. And this is why we don't take a lot of calls on our show. Let's try area code 678. Go ahead. It's 678. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, just a moment while I was on hold, so I had it on speakerphone. You can hear me clearly right now, right?
Yeah. Ask a quick question or make a statement. Put something on the record with Mancow. Go ahead. You're on the air.
All right. My name is Mark. My website is doyoulovejesus.org. That's letter U. And I have observed a propensity that many truths, the media cartel, when they pound on something over and over and over again, they take for granted that people are not going to investigate, or a few people that do. Oh, you're just crazy. I raised the question, why is bin Laden, either we should indict bin Laden because we have a legitimate body of evidence that implicates him, or we should indict the criminals in the government and the people who decide content in the media, not necessarily the people whose faces you see on TV or voices you hear on the radio, but somebody needs to be held accountable that either there is a legitimate body of evidence that implicates bin Laden or there is not. And if there is not, basically I maintain that the devil's been in the business of deceiving mankind for a very long time. He knows his business.
Well, hold on. Let me leave you there because you asked a pretty good question. Mancow, we have this trial coming up. They're going to take the Gitmo, the KSMs up to Chicago. Then they're going to ship them over to New York, according to Eric Holder, blocks away from the scene of the crime, and they're going to try them in a civil court. I know that, you at first were not, real accepting of some of the 9/11, quote-unquote, truths and conspiracy theories. Where are you at now? Because nobody seems to have been indicted for these crimes, and the people that were incompetent on our side of the government were all promoted. Does somebody ever become accountable for this?